Fire Warrior here. Today we will be looking at formatting styles when it comes to bot making. The reason why I am making this video is because I noticed in part 2 I had a hiccup because I did not go too much in detail about the different formatting styles. And to make up for that, I decided to make a bonus part 2 video explaining the different styles in more detail. And so we will be looking at the three main styles, which is novel, W++, and boost style. These three styles are fairly good, though it is usually dependent on the person and what you are and what you do. And each one do have their strengths and weaknesses depending on what you are and what you're doing, and as well for the LLM that you are currently using. So let's get to it. The first style is novel. It is often the first style that a lot of bot makers just starting out usually use. It is a fairly competent, fairly good style. Just the one downside is that you kind of have to know what you are doing when it comes to making the bot. And you also need to know good grammar and spelling. Is it good? Yes. Is it a bit more difficult? Also, yes. The reason why it's a bit more difficult is usually because of the LLM itself. Because you can use the grammar style of let's eat grandma to let's eat grandma. And so if you have that in the bot description, you can cause a lot of issues. And so if you're wanting to have something like let's eat grandma and you forgot that comma, the bot will interpret it as okay, let's eat grandma instead of let's eat grandma. And so you really need to pay attention to what you're doing with your spelling and grammar. This is often the first style that a lot of people use. Personally, I don't 100% recommend it, at least starting out, or if you're just not all that great when it comes to spelling and grammar. The main strength of novel is that it goes into a little bit more detail, and a lot of bots can, if done right, be really good and really powerful. I have used bots in the past that utilizes the novel style, and they completely blow my bots out of the water due to how much detail the bot creator goes into. And so I know that they are really good. And a lot of other bot makers can agree to that statement. Because one, either they are a novelist themselves, or B, they use the bot that use a novelist style as well. And so it is a popular all around style that is used both by new bot creators and experienced veteran bot creators. Now, let's get on to the next style, W++. W++ is a bit of a, let's say, the black sheep of the bot creating world, from what I noticed. Back in the day, W++ was actually regarded at least fairly good, if not a excellent style, because you're sacrificing a little bit of memory for exchange of structure. It's supposed to be a strange combination between novel and boost style. W plus plus is supposed to be the happy middle ground. Just the one big issue with W plus plus is that there was a lot of things working against it. Namely, a lot of bot makers would like to use quotation marks for every little thing. And so it would drive up the token count to an unnecessary high. Because not only is the LM looking at all this, but it's also looking at the quotation marks. And so, due to that knowledge and having so many quotation marks, it essentially murdered the reputation of W++, despite it being a really good formatting technique, in my opinion. And so, if you're using W++, I do actually recommend you use a modified version of the format. And you want to be as efficient as possible. As possible. So, instead of having like the quotations, don't use the quotations is what I'm saying. And don't add in unnecessary fat like, oh, occupation, sexual orientation, this and that and the other thing. Keep it basic. Remember that you can combine things that technically mean the same but technically don't. Just know that you want to be efficient with W++ as humanly possible for the sole reason of quality over the bot. Now, let's go over the strength and weaknesses of W++. The main strength of W++ is the formatting and how clean it looks. Because compared to all this, where you have like the basic information, basic layout, this is all good. This is nice. But with W++, you're simply going one word and you're forcing the LLM to interpret everything to build its own body. It is actually really useful and really nice because, unlike novel, where you have to go into great detail and explain everything, which does actually make novel really powerful in a way that goes into great detail and use more pretty words. W++, on the other hand, is allowing off the LLM to use a lot more interpretation. Therefore, it allows the bot to form its own opinion, if that makes sense. The bot does know that it has cheetah ears, but it also know it has light brown skin, short blonde hair, etc. And it is forcing a lot more legwork on the LLM, which helps the token space be a lot more cleaner, a lot more smaller. It is very useful and it's naturally clean. And you get a lot more flexibility because the bot is doing a lot more interpretation than you normally would have to do, which allows you to get into a lot more fun, a little bit more natural feeling role plays due to the bot relying off of more interpretations compared to what novel has. And that's basically it. Now, on to the last style, boost style. Boost style, I will admit, I don't have too much experience with that style, with the exception of using it back during the SKAI days. It was decent-ish style. I did not fully understand it other than knowing that, oh, it's a extension or like a similar formatting to W++. And during the early days, it really messed me up because I constantly had to look at the different information, try to organize it, and then I had to go, oh, okay, this and that, blonde hair, happy, energetic, and it's just like, no. With it being the main reason why I switched to W++. I organize this for the sole purpose of making it a little bit easier for my viewers to understand it. But just know that under normal circumstances, boost style is a bit more atrocious when it comes to organization. And it also didn't help that a lot of early LLMs would often get confused by the boost style because they may know that, oh, I have blonde hair, but they may not understand where the blonde hair goes, or they may try to mix up other parts, and so it would cause a lot of confusion for the LM. The main purpose of the boost style is that it was meant more for the early LLMs that had low memory count. And so a lot of bot makers had to be a lot more efficient for their token count. And so a lot of older bots, you would often see something like this: atrocious, highly disorganized, junk, and all that. Does it still technically work? Yes, it does. Will it fall flat on its face because your LLM decided to have a schizophrenic episode due to how boost style is structured due to the bot maker not understanding boost style very well? Also, yes. And so I don't recommend using boost style unless if you're on a platform like Spicy Chat or some of the more weaker, not very good AI platforms. Because this is what this is mostly for. It's for the old and for the crummy LLMs because you just need to save up on the token space as much as possible. With that said, I am going to call it here and treat this as a bonus video to part 2. Now I will be moving on to part 3 of my YouTube video. Have a nice day.